charger update.
It's like, oh, I bought an iPhone 12 Pro. Wait, it doesn't come with the charger or headphones or anything? You just threw it at me? No box. It doesn't even come with a box. You fucker. Like, that's the Chargers. But, yeah, one of the last things for, take a tangent. So, a certain someone won a certain amount of money in a certain fantasy football league. Started from the bottom, and now he's here. Champion. Go ahead and shout yourself out, Eric.
I'll be honest, the lineups just worked out of my way. I played against Kyler Murray, who did not do well this last week. I played against Derrick Henry, who Green Bay froze in the frozen tundra. He had Jarvis Landry go out with COVID. Look over the lineup here. Marvin Jones Jr. didn't do shit because
Detroit sucks.
Detroit sucks. Just some bad luck. Matt Prater had 1 point for his kicker. And then, just some good stuff happened for me. I mean, like I said, I ran with David Montgomery. He was my winner this week. And then I lucked out because I couldn't play Keenan Allen, who went out just about an hour before or a couple hours before the game time and started T. Higgins. And T. Higgins ended up giving me almost 19 points that somebody I was always weary of playing on the bench. However, I was bold and tried to do Jalen Hurts instead of Deshaun Watson, which kind of almost fucked me. But sometimes your luck is better than being good, and I got lucky, and I came back from place in week 3 and 4 to taking the whole league, and now I got a couple of car payments with that winning money. So
lit.
Thank you very much.
Crazy. Congrats. That's awesome.
Yeah. Especially with you.
Dude, yeah. And I'm sure a lot of the people in fantasy are just like putting a crap ton of their money into that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it was a weird year because at the beginning of the year, just like most of us were like being very weary with this virus going on that's affecting everybody's lives. And I was just like, I'm not even going to do a fantasy league. I'm not going to do a fantasy league. And luckily some of the people I did the league with, like, hey, if you do one, I'm down. So we rushed it. We got the league together. And also shout out to James Robinson because I drafted some shitty running backs, and James Robinson came off the waiver wire in week 2, and I wrote him off as one of my best running backs throughout the year. Unfortunately, he got hurt last week, and he's not going to finish out the season. But James Robinson with the Jaguars, I think they have a promising good running back with him. Put him together with Trevor Lawrence, and maybe that team might do some damage in the future.
Indeed. But now we're gonna. Is Pete there? Pete, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, cool. All right, now we're on to a more lighthearted version of the show. Okay. So this has been a long year for all of us. So I figured, oh shit, I forgot one thing. Actually, NFLPA President JC Tretter wants to end the NFL offseason program based off everything that's happened.
I'm going to say that's a turnover.
I'm going to say it's
just because what the fuck are you supposed to do? Just show up ready and knowing the NFL playbook first day of training camp?
Well, he said based off, everything that's happened, like, the fanfare or lack of fanfare, like, people have shown we don't need to, like, I think it's really mostly for the veterans. They don't need to keep showing up to all the shit that they say is mandatory. Like, it needs to be abolished and something else needs to be, put in its place. Or I really just think
they barely practice as it is now. Like, they only practice 2 days a week.
But, I mean, for veterans, especially with COVID, like, I could understand his point because he's been, harping on that for a while.
But the league isn't just about the veterans, though. The league is always evolving. There's people always replacing them. The people that replace them need training. It's an evolving league. The veterans are, there's the veterans are a minority in the NFL because some of them say that still the average career of an NFL player is what, a year and a half. A lot of these guys need that development. We only have a 53-man roster in the pros, and you look at this year. You had a lot of veterans being on practice squads, and you still need the offseason. You need these guys for one getting in shape, not only just in peak physical shape, but in football shape. You need to be able to take those hits, and just to abolish it, it's going to just make the NFL into just, oh, you're here one week and gone the next. I think that's a bad move.
Well, we'll see what happens. I would call it. Go ahead.
I just look at the mini camp less about, hey, like, this is something I need to do and get in shape, and more as like, oh, this is something for you to learn the offense, learn your teammates, learn your coaches, and start preparing to win the Super Bowl. Like, to me, if I were an NFL player, I wouldn't want to do the mini camp and the OTAs. I'm not saying you need to go to the workouts and go to the facility so many times a day and get conditioned.
I think it could be a touchdown, though. Like, because, I mean, if you're going to be a veteran and you're going to stick around in this league, you're going to want something that protects you. That either it's like, okay, like, coaches can't hold this against me during contract negotiations, because young guys don't know. Young guys just take what they're given, but it is a business. So in a way, he is looking out for the young guys. Like, yo, they can't take advantage of you like this, this, and this. Like, when you're at the end of that contract, and let's say you tear an ACL in minicamp, well, there goes all your leverage. But if, they abolish some of that stuff and they say, look, you just got to check in at these times, and when we're ready to go, we're ready to go. So I get it. I understand, like, his point, but, it is what it is. Next thing I want to do for touchdown or turnover. Everybody has had a long year this year, but I just, like, y'all can, whoever wants to go first. But I want you to think about the year you've had. Would you call it a touchdown or a turnover? Who wants to go first?
Who wants to go first?
Can I call the year a field goal in overtime?
That's a game winner. That's
No, not the game winner one. The one where they get the ball back and they can still score.
You're stupid.
Rule changes.
It's not sudden death anymore. I don't know. Is it a layaway? Are we gonna redshirt?
Like, yeah, like some good things. Like, some good things happen. Like, I definitely made some ground, but did I get all the way? Did I get where I wanted to go? No, and I took a lot of lumps and L's on the way, so I'm going to say it's a field goal in overtime.
Okay. Eric, Izzy?
I think this is one of those years you just kind of find out what you're made of and what your potential can be. I mean, this year has been, I could only say, a roller coaster. It started off just like, this has been the first year I got married, so thankful for, with my wife, and we shared this first year of marriage, and our challenges weren't really our marriage, is just adapting to the life that we had. Started off with this virus, getting furloughed, like, cool, taking some time off and getting some money from the government, and then something very drastic for me, having to move to Phoenix because my dad got in a horrific auto accident, and kind of drifting away from the relationship with my dad and having to basically nurse him. And, luckily my wife was just not even think about twice, but like, okay, we'll go to Phoenix to go take care of him. Seeing that evolve, seeing him almost lose his leg. And then, his healthcare was challenged because of COVID. and then coming back to LA, and then, me being in the service industry and seeing, how ugly people could be in the service industry, and seeing like how people looking at you like, oh, you're lucky for us to come to your restaurant. And it's the other way around. It's like, you're lucky to be able to come to a restaurant like us, to be able for you to live your luxury of coming out and dining somewhere. So, I don't know how you can really put this into a game win, a tie, a loss. It's just, this is a challenge. Where we've been as a society, as far as seeing systemic racism, as to where it exists heavy and far and within our American society, to where it's not just something we're studying in history books, it's something that we're living day to day. Seeing politics being polarized is just being polarized and being in your face, and seeing Americans as not as a neighbor, but sometimes as an enemy, because your philosophy might be different and your idea of being an American is different from what another person calls us an American. So this is definitely a year to where, you have to look at yourself and be like, who am I? Who are we? Who are we as a society? And the thing is, this year is kind of like more of an appetizer of what this next year can be, or is going to be, as what we're going to be as a society, as a country, as just being a person on this globe. Some people keep talking about how America first, but this is a small world now, and we're only one country in the entire globe. So it's not over. It's luckily, 2020 is over, but where we need to get ourselves out of, where we need to get going, it's only the tip of the iceberg. And, there's light at the end of the tunnel with this vaccine, but it's been a very trying year for not just myself. I mean, I was lucky. I met all you, gave me this opportunity to be part of this podcast. It's been the highlight of my weeks, my life, the last couple of months. And thank you very much. But it's been definitely a trying year, and not just for me. And God bless those who have lost friends and family to this goddamn virus. But it's not this year's over, but we're not out of the woodworks, and we still got a long way to go.
Indeed. Izzy?
Wow, that was really good to listen to. So thank you, Eric. There was some really good advice in there. Yeah, it's been a different year for sure. I think I had to adapt to change more than I would have liked to, probably. And watching the days go by, like we said earlier, it literally just feels like another day. But yeah, the climate is still the same online. Hopefully things get somewhat better as time goes on. I think that's kind of all we have is like time. Is like we're guaranteed that with time this will go away. So I guess, I don't know. I'm not very good at patience, but this year it's been good. And I agree with Eric that this podcast has definitely been a massive highlight of my year. And it's always fun to come into the studio or a Zoom, whatever. But just keeping a social circle has been super helpful, and yeah, you guys are so funny and I appreciate everything, all the work. But the only positive I could think of, or not the only one, but what I'm really looking forward to is I feel like after this year, when people are able to get into, not this year, I guess we can't say that anymore. That's funny. But after COVID is over, but we when we can get in groups together, we're going to go so hard, if you go out to a bar or whatever. I just think